I'm joined by Elisabeth Paehtz here in the press center. Elisabeth, you've won your game, a very nice game, if I can say, with black against Bibisara Asaubayeva. You might even extend in the standings towards the middle of the standing with this win. Talk about the game and your performance today, and in general, these last games has been more or less up and down for you.
Well, the game today actually, when you have such a big tournament, then you just want to make a draw and finish as quickly as possible. So I decided to play a quite boring line, which I had kind of experience with. And actually, I saw that she lost the game against the Chinese. Now let me think, Tan. Mm-hmm. It was a Karlsbad structure, and I had actually today a similar structure on the board, and I understood that actually the structure maybe is more difficult for her to play because, she's very young and she has not so much experience in the kind of very boring positions. In my opinion, she's a very strong, dynamic player, and today she didn't get any dynamic at all. And in the moment, actually, when she allowed me to play b5, I think here, you should sense that there is some danger at some point, maybe on the king side. And I think with rook a1, rook a7, she chose a plan which is kind of risky for her.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so basically trying to get the type of position that works towards your strengths and maybe not towards her strengths then.
Well, actually, according to Robert Hübner, I'm not a good player when it comes to static positions. And what I had today,
like that today at least.
What I had today is a static position, and the thing is that. I'm much older, so I have more experience in these kind of structures, let's say. But it's usually not my cup of tea. But when you have a bad tournament and you just want to, try to finish it in a kind of, let's say, not too upsetting way, then maybe it's good to have this kind of boring positions and just try to hold. And this was my approach today. And in general, the tournament goes very bad. But I think in this year, I'm, let's say, mentally not able to focus too much on chess. There's too much things in my life going on. And I thought it would at some point pass, but apparently it affects me much stronger than I expected it.
Well, you have now nearly 4 months until the next Grand Prix, which, by the way, are 3 in a row. So a lot of time to regroup, to consider where you can perform more strongly. Elisabeth, we were talking before the game briefly about women in chess, the situation of a top-level woman in the chess scene. Tell me, what are your thoughts about it? What do you think FIDE can do to improve the situation of women in chess, especially at the top level?
Well, actually, since we are all kind of close, the top 20 among women, and we talk a lot since we see each other in many tournaments, I know from certain players that they were a bit unhappy with the general outcome of this year. For women players, it's very difficult to make a living, in my opinion, because those of us who are not able to get into the Grand Prix, and there are a lot of, for example, very strong Georgian players who are not able to play the Grand Prix. For them, they are struggling a lot, and not only them, but in general. And you see all these kind of online events in the men's section. Of course, this is privately sponsored by Carlsen. Then you see all these kind of, latest news, which are a little bit, let's say, sad for chess in general. But I would love that at some point, maybe, because, for example, in Germany, we have representatives of sportsmen and sportswomen. So maybe it's a good idea for FIDE to have some representative who would speak for the top 20 among women and maybe also among men, and then to collect ideas together and try to improve in a certain way, because the last 3 years were quite tough. And I remember back in 2020, when there was a lockdown, I spoke to some of the players who I happened to see. They were really struggling. And it's kind of sad when we speak about top 10 women's players who are not able to make any living. The times were, of course, with Corona hard, but in general, it's not like we had much tournaments this year. We didn't have any kind of close events like, for example, St. Louis. It was cancelled in February because of Corona in our case. And it would be nice to have more possibilities in a way, and maybe even to have a women's chess Grand Tour, which the men have. And Yeah, I would just say for my colleagues from the top 20 world ranking that we would like to have more input in this, and maybe even like more online events or in general tournaments, and therefore perhaps, as I said, a representative would be nice, or even like a kind of strategy to get more sponsors and to get more kind of round robin or these kind of fancy events which we can see almost monthly in the men's section.
It's a fantastic idea. I can see as well that the games are fabulous. You're really fighting to the end in most of the games. And I think it's a very good idea that a representative could be in the kitchen. So let's see if that can happen.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that, perhaps.